the table, and Chris Maduak is standing by. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning and welcome, Chris.
Good morning, Charles. Good morning, Belinda. Good morning, the people of the world.
So, petrol price is down by 20 naira. Welcome development?
Good news.
20 naira.
Yeah. If you times the liter of oil fuel Nigerians consume, according to their records, you times it by 20 naira, you will see some element of money saved. But my issue is, where is the money going to? To who? It has not touched up on the people. But they will tell you that if the right thing has been done, there will be some market regulating itself in the oil and gas. But there are deliberate effort by the hawks. That's how I describe them. In the oil and gas sector in Nigeria, they didn't want things to go right. If Nigeria had borrowed the track of telecommunication, allow, of course, I was listening to one virtual interview that went around. I was talking to Obasanjo. Obasanjo was analyzing why the refineries cannot come back, and cannot even be, nobody can buy them. If you want to sell it as scrap, it's less than $200 million or something. And even the quantity of refined product that comes out of it is so low. There's one he said has 600. The other one has 100,000. So many issues, and there are people that the whole thing comes back to NNPC. So why did they say they can manage at the point where some independent people were brought in? NNPC came back and told him, Obasanjo then, that they can manage the refinery. And now this is where we are. So when even we are talking about, it still traces back. So when I was calling NNPC that they are part of this issue, problem, I never knew that history until I heard it from Obasanjo. If they had allowed this kind of investment that Dangote, imagine if Bua comes and he has a competition of 1 naira less, people will go and buy from him from everywhere, the global market. So whoever sells cheaper, whoever has some motivation and incentives to give to the customers, they will go there. That is good news. But let's see. Before, when the president was taking over power, that particular hour he mentioned removal of fuel subsidy, the pump price of everything about fuel increased that immediately. It was like, in an international stock exchange where you are watching how figures are changing at intervals. We expect this 20 naira to have reflected in all the downstream sectors, because it is removed from marketers. Is that the marketers will now come out and want a way to give us another reason why they will not let them drop it?
Well, across filling stations today, you see 1,130. NNPC is selling 1,105. So across board, there's still some disparities. You also see 1,000.
This is what we have expected. What we have done for this morning. There has been no clear reflection of this change in the pump price across the nation, and that's one thing about price increase, and that's why we shout and cry. Once you allow it climb to come down, Nawala. But then let's say let's, for instance, at least for once, hear something that looks like good news. 20 naira across the board, it's something, no matter how negligent Belinda might feel it is, because Belinda just said just 20 naira. But when you put it in the population of Nigeria, you look at the multiplier effect, what do you have?
Well, I just said that because, marketers are still important. So I don't think, do you think with this, downstream sectors are going to change in terms of price?
If it's
since it's not solely all coming from
if it's not, that's why I'm saying, if it's not the insincerity, Some of them are important. Some of their landing costs are landing cheaper than what the Dangote is selling. If they put it to effect, it will to our benefit. But they don't want. If they import, they will still be looking at Dangote now. Because if I import fuel and it lands for me at 20 naira, and I'm selling what Dangote is selling at 970 naira, imagine the margin of gain, because I will have reason to say. But if it's where they are sincere, they import and they say, let's sell cheaper, they will force Dangote, price will begin to regulate. And before you know it, we might be talking about 700 naira. And there's something. But this sincerity in oil and gas in Nigeria, the insincerity is breakneck. And what else can we say? Thanks to Dangote. Let's hear from the importers. Since they still export, they damage and they manage, they do whatever they want to do there. What we are looking at, according to Igbo proverb, whatever we are looking at the bottom of the plate is fish or meat. What the 200 million Nigerians are looking for is that time you come and say, fuel is now, can manage to buy a liter to just manage. So life must begin to return gradually to the people. Because this has crashed the life of Nigerians. Because all the money, beyond the debt Nigeria is owing, all the money we are making in Nigeria is going into oil and gas. And it's only one sector. And only few manage it and control it. So it's dangerous. It doesn't portend anything for us. Because some other places in the world, the prices you compare, if we are using other people's currency like dollars to check how much, if $1 is exchanging at the 1 liter of fuel, and it means 1,400 naira. I've not stopped using that word, 1,004, because that's what it trickles down to the exterior, the extreme of Nigeria. Now, if you are using that, and now see that 1 liter of fuel in Nigeria is changes for $1, and then what does it do? Well, how does the other currency of the world change to $1? So you find out that we're still at the losing end. Something is wrong. You know?
All right, let's go over to the Labour Party threatening showdown from the 1st of December about states that have refused to implement
It's not
the
Labour
minimum
Party,
wage.
it's Labour.
Oh, sorry.
The NLC.
The NLC.
Is that to be safer, let's use the Nigerian Labour Congress so that we'll be able to separate it. The Nigerian Labour Congress are doing what they should do because they have sworn to carry the people along. And that's why they are the strongest organization in Nigeria, and the government keep trying to weaken them.
I mean, look at the states that are defaulting. I mean, if you look at the list, Katsina, Cross River, Zamfara, Imo. Are you shocked to see Imo and Cross River on that list that haven't agreed, at least come to the conclusion?
I'm shocked to see Imo because Imo has found itself in the list of oil
producing states.
So with their derivation, I am totally surprised that Imo name will be appear in this list. But that is the issue of Nigerians telling ourselves lies. If there is true federation and the states, even you can look at the audit, the states assess them. You can see states that truly can pay. Like we started sitting down here to assume that Imo can pay. But if the view is clearer from the point of view of Hope Uzodimma, the executive governor of Imo State, if he thinks...
Do you really think that Imo cannot pay?
What, you know,
If do you really think Imo cannot pay?
I've made my mind. I say Imo, I'm surprised that they're on the list for whatever reason. But that is also subjective. That's what we are saying. The fact is that Nigeria, there's something basically wrong with our nation, honestly, because before this minimum wage is fixed, there should be the state government, because you can't say in Abuja and give me a load on assumption. Like we sat here now, we are sitting here now, we are assuming Imo can pay. And we might not be far from the truth, but then it's still guesswork. Somebody is sitting at the affairs of Imo State, and he has an accountant general, And they have lists, because if they say, bring what you get every month, tell us how you do, and we think we can pay. And all the states, 36 states from Abuja, 37, bring this kind of thing. When we are talking about, they said the labor is putting pressure on the federal government to do this. Federal government couldn't have done it in isolation. These are issues that are matters arising. Assuming there are some states who cannot truly pay. Since they couldn't pay 30,000, that is even the most shocking thing. So many states, since over 8 years ago, they have not paid 30,000. And you come and impose 70,000.
Do you suggest that state governors negotiate directly with workers on the amounts they would rather pay, rather than was waiting for the presidency to announce a minimum wage, a national minimum wage?
If they had done that earlier, by now it's too late.
No, like, do you think should it be state governors negotiate with workers on their own, so that, for instance, in Zamfara State, you could have minimum wage at 50,000. In Anambra,
I understand
can be at 80,000 or so.
Charles. I'm talking about that if at the negotiating level of this, the level are human beings. And the made up of people come from different states. So they are sitting one side, the federal government who is presiding sits, then the state governor sits. And then there has been this, is a bazaar thing. Who can pay 70,000? I. Then who can pay 30,000? Then I. Nay, that kind of thing. And they were able to get at a point where they say, this is the minimum. And they say it's minimum. Mm-hmm. And the minimum is not minimum for some states, because some states are paying 85, while some states have not even come out to agree on the minimum. Don't you see some technical error from the word go? The federal government succumbed to that pressure without due process. Let me say, not put it that way, it would sound disrespectful. They didn't do due engagement of the people. Because by now, it would have been summoned. If they had done it, and so we sat on this desk, a Federal Executive Council, that may be a special session, invite the labor, and all the people involved, the ministers, all the line ministries, and said, Nigerians are asking for 70,000 naira. Let's have it talked over. By the time they are rising there, it's like an agreement. So nobody will be, all this thing, this is my drag, you find out that the whole of 10 of Tinubu we finish and some states have not paid. Just like what happened. What did you do to them? That's Nigeria. Have we jailed all the governors that didn't pay 30,000 and they've gone to the Senate? Did that stop them? And are the people waiting that they will get backlog? Before, one major region, the first child do not just walk, you don't expect the second one to run. That's a simple analogy I give on that. Kuka said, we have a president by accident. The accidental presidents could be described as also accidental discharge. Because if you have accidental presidency, they discharge all their function accidentally. And Kuka is not somebody who will speak. And he is a man who thinks through his words. And he's a cerebral bishop of Sokoto. He's a writer, activist, a humanitarian. And when he looks at situations, if you listen to him talk in public, you know that he might have assessed. But then my worry is that he said it's only Tinubu that came prepared. And now the question is...
It's quite confusing.
It's confusing because a
lot of newspapers, you see. So I think some newspapers are trying to play politically correct. If we had been part of that interview where Kuka would have picked our own. Because the headlines, there's 10 blind men and 1 elephant. Kuka has said something. Nigerian presidency, most of them came unprepared. You can't take it back. Whoever is among this, you don't even bother who is among. But it's a real fact. We look at this man, Donald Trump, quite recently. We looked at an interview when he was a state governor. I was campaigning to be a state governor in the U.S. And this popular celebrity, a black African woman, interview, celebrity in American media.
Okay, that's Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey interview you have that virtual video going around where the man was consistent for almost 40 years and came back still saying he wanted. Before, there's been some things that people say is artificial intelligence, that the man has already finished arrangement of his cabinet, even before they are thinking of swearing in. He has already gotten himself ready. And the people of the world, the journalists, the press of the world are cleaning up, going to the market with what he is coming with. And if you stop him, even if you put his voice in artificial intelligence, you tell him the same thing. If you see him live, Trump will tell you the same thing. The Americans know that. They even used that against him when he predicted what he's coming to do. And the Americans are sitting up, the world is sitting up waiting for it. They're not just saying, hey, this Trump is coming to take us by surprise. That's what we expect. If we borrow democracy from such places, why somebody will be campaigning, use all his life to campaign to be president, and then when he just arrives there, that's when he starts. Some of the people here have shown, the people they are talking about, Kuka are talking about, some of them were in power for 6 months, they've not appointed they've not made single appointment, or appointed the critical things. Some of them have not even didn't appoint ambassadors up to 1 year, going beyond that. Some have not appointed some of the ministries, departments, and agencies that require some boards. Some people who have been sitting there for 8 years are still sitting. No, I'm new, fresh, because a board is supposed to, every tenure there has to be a board. All the sectors, I don't think they've appointed the boards, and then say that might be, you don't have any excuse. And that's why I pity whoever is in Asoro. If you are there, you are like the tree that find itself at the middle of the road, which receives ubemma. How do I put it? Everybody passing by will just be hitting it with something. If it's not a machete, if you're hitting you with stick. Anything, the tree that is standing by the roadside, if people do not clean their hands on the tree, they will do so many things. They will do anything. Some people will paste posters on it. That is what it takes to be a Nigerian president. So when people say, are you prepared? You are not, you are giving excuse. We said, we didn't put you there for excuse. We put you there to perform, to hit the ground running. The same way our President Bola Tinubu came, the first day, without even finishing his acceptance speech, he removed all his subsidy. We were saying, this is going to be fast run.
But with that, don't you think he's prepared?
Well, I don't know how prepared he is. Because, like I said, I gave instant to it. He is a good administration. If that's what you want me to say. His administration, so many appointments has not been done. How many years? How many days? Over 149 days. Abi, it's more than 1 year.
It's more than a year, of course. More than 16 months.
The ambassadors have not, they are just saying, I had last week, they're saying that ambassadors, have not been appointed. So many things, so many things have not taken place in that regard. But so if he is prepared, then certain things are overwhelming him. If he is prepared, certain things are overwhelming. If he's not, then it's still a word of Kuka against the presidency, not mine. I'm not the person who said Nigerian presidency are accidental. Labor in the showdown, we've talked about that.
We're almost out of time.
Yes.
Almost out of time. I'll just have to leave it there just because of time. Many thanks, Mr. Chris, once again for your insights on the newspaper headlines this morning.
Thank you, Charles, for having me.
We're back shortly after this to stay with us.